Welcome, FNews57 here. Once again, I'm back on my Xbox and we're playing some Black Ops 6. In today's video, I'm going to be going over Operation Hellride and the fastest way to complete this. So we're going to complete this event with the utmost ease, shooting for how to do it in a single match. Now, if you don't know, the event just dropped, and it is one of those pesky events that does require you to do challenges. However, we can't do all the challenges at the same time. You actually have to do the first challenge before progressing to the next, so on and so forth, for a total of 6 challenges. And the ending reward is the Grave Mark .357, basically a single action revolver. Kind of looks cool, and if you happen to have the black cell, it's actually got a pretty nice skin locked behind the black cell. There's some other rewards, including a operator skin and another weapon skin along the way, and of course the first reward being a Jeep and 3 gumballs. Now let's go ahead and get into what you have to do. I will be covering the easiest way to do it, which is going to be in zombies, but there are separate Warzone challenges. So if you only have access to Warzone, there's a separate Warzone challenge tree, and of course a separate multiplayer challenge tree if that's your cup of tea, but both of those versions will take you longer to complete and will not be as easy. So if you have access to zombies, I recommend that you go into zombies. Also, we can track this challenge, and I highly recommend that you go ahead and track this challenge. It will make your life a lot easier. Now, if you don't want spoilers, then go ahead and mute the video for a second. But if you don't mind spoilers, I'm going to show you how to do this in a single game. Let's make it as easy as possible. So obviously we're going to need a standard game, and we will be forced to play on the map The Reckoning. Now you could do this over multiple games, it doesn't really matter, but we need to survive 25 rounds on The Reckoning. Then after that, I already know what the challenges are, so I'm going to be bringing in a very specific loadout. You don't have to copy my loadout, but if you want to make it as easy as possible, then I would recommend you do so. We'll be using the Maelstrom shotgun, monolithic suppressor, reinforced barrel, Ranger foregrip, extended mag 2, commando grip, infiltrator stock, tac laser, and rapid fire. This is different from most people's builds. I don't use Dragon's Breath. It's just not as effective. Plus, I prefer tac stance so I can get my critical kills. Field upgrade doesn't really matter. You will want frags, but you won't need those till later, and you can do this without the use of any gumballs. However, you will want to bring in one gumball in particular. You don't necessarily have to have it in your starting 3 unless you absolutely want to have it in your starting 3, but you will want to bring in, if you want to make it easier, at least one dead drop gumball. That will make your life a lot easier. But again, entirely personal preference, you can do it without it. So then you're going to go ahead and just drop into The Reckoning, and you want to get as prepared as possible, as early as possible. So I'll give you a few tips on that once we get into the match. Obviously, use the timestamps in the description to make the video shorter in length, and I don't think I really need to tell people how to reach round 25. I do have a complete Easter egg walkthrough posted on my channel if you need some tips and tricks for playing this map. So once you go ahead and get into the map, I would recommend you make your life a little bit easier and go ahead and interact with each of the trash cans. So use some of these Easter eggs to your advantage where you interact with the trash cans, and then also I would recommend the target shooting Easter egg just to get yourself a free ammo mod and ether tool. Again, entirely personal preference, but that will save you a lot of time when it comes to upgrading your weapon, because we will be needing salvage. As far as augments are concerned, the augments are going to be entirely personal preference, but typical shotgun build with critical eye, dead again, and then your double body shot damage and double play. So you will want to get dead shot daiquiri and then double tap, and if you can get it, you'll want your death perception. But other than that, it's pretty standard play, so I recommend you take your time, stay in the starting area for a little bit, and then make your way up through mutant research, and then over to Android Assembly. So I'm going to basically meet you at Pack-a-Punch. So once you follow the on-screen instructions and you open up the area for Pack-a-Punch, basically turning on power, and fixing the issues left for you for the Pack-a-Punch machine to be available, you will want to remain in this area, in my opinion, till you have enough money to Pack-a-Punch. While technically you can use the shooting range Easter egg and get a free crystal, a free Ethereum crystal, I don't really like doing that, and I don't have the best luck doing it, so I wouldn't advise it in particular, but at the end of the day, it is entirely personal preference. Now, all of these are simple on-screen instructions. You really can't mess this up. I'm just leaving it in here because it gives me a chance to explain what you need to do, or at least what I feel is best to do. Again, entirely personal preference at the end of the day. You can also do this in different game modes, so if you really wanted to do this in, like, say, Cranked or Directed, because when we track the challenge, if you pause the game, you can go and see that our total number of rounds survived is 6 out of 25, and we just started round 7. So, technically speaking, you can do this in a different mode. But the main thing is, you want to get power turned on as quickly as possible. This way you have access to Pack-a-Punch. You also have the ability to get SAM trials, which I would advise doing because it'll help you in the long run, since this will be a salvage intensive task, which is why we'll also be using the shooting range Easter egg. I will show the shooting range Easter egg completion for those folks that don't know how to do it, but other than that, at this point all you want to do is just farm points. And then we will be buying our first couple of perks. You want to make sure that you have Juggernog, Quick Revive, and as your third perk, I would highly recommend, if you're using the shotgun, that you use Double Tap, because Double Tap is going to give us considerably more damage with that double body shot damage for the shotgun, as well as giving us ammo back with the double play augment. At the end of the day, of course, it is entirely personal preference, and you don't have to use this weapon. But if you would like to, it will make your life easier. There's also a world spawn nuke power-up right there, so if you want to grab it for some free points during like a double points or something, go right ahead and do so. Now, the thing I like to do once I grab the Pack-a-Punch is I like to come back here, and normally I wait for a double points before interacting with that trash can and finishing the trash can Easter egg, which if you've gone ahead and done everything up until this point that you needed to do for the trash can Easter egg, then you'll be able to get some free essence and go just right into it. You will need to do the shooting range Easter egg at least one time, and I would recommend you do that before Wave 11 to go ahead and get the ammo mod out of the way. So that's what we're going to do here. We don't have any perks, but that's okay. And you will want your shotgun Pack-a-Punched for this, just because obviously that will make it a lot easier. So if you have a SAM trial, you can do the SAM trial if you want to. Remember, SAM trials will disappear on exfil waves. And then in order to go ahead and get this started for the side Easter egg, we're going to stand right in the center of the bullseye. And then we have to aim down our sights and shoot the bullseye on the TV screen. And then we can go ahead and shoot the bullseyes that pop up, which the very first time you do this, while it's not required, I just recommend that you do it because it does make life a lot easier. But these things will always pop up in the same places, and they're so far away that if you have the shotgun, you really need to have it Pack-a-Punched. But the first time you do all this, you're going to get a random ammo mod. You might get something good. If you don't get anything good, don't worry about it. The main thing is you're going to want to flip one round, and then you'll be able to do it again. You want to make sure that you're on round 11 when you do it again. This way, your ether tool will be of purple rarity. So it's a free purple rarity ether tool. I'm going to go do my SAM trial real quick, and then we'll meet you right back here. Now, you may not have the SAM trial, which if you don't have the SAM trial, don't really worry about it. It's completely understandable. But if you do have a SAM trial in your game, I would highly recommend that you do it, just because these are, especially when playing solo, relatively easy to complete. There's only really a couple that are difficult, and the ones I don't like, in my opinion, the worst one in the entire game is the one where you have to get PhD flopper kills. But as long as you don't have something like that, or the hold location with a team, you're pretty well easily doing this. You can, of course, do this too with a team if you want, but if you don't have a team to play with, then that could be a little bit difficult. The main reason for doing the SAM trials is currently, as long as you get the gold reward, you get all of your essence that you spent back, you get more salvage, and then on top of that, you get some random stuff. Like, I got a blue ether tool. Not that we really needed that, but hey, it'll help. Now for our third perk, and of course there's the vending machine here that you can use, but for our third perk, this is going to be very important. In my opinion, you absolutely want double tap as your third perk. So this is your core 3. Quick revive, jug, and double tap. After that, it's entirely personal preference what you get, but I do recommend Deadshot Daiquiri and eventually getting Death Perception. Obviously playing in directed mode would make this easier to do, but it's slower and I don't like slow. So now at this point, all you need to do is simply go to wave 11 and we'll get our next ether tool. So right here, as soon as we're ready to go ahead and flip the round to 11, we're just going to wait for the round to flip to 11, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the target range shooting again. This is the second time. Now the second time that you do this, there's going to be 2 targets each time, and I'm including this because the targets are always in the same spots. I'm a little rusty, I haven't done this in a while, but this makes a huge difference when playing on the Reckoning. So you can use this to play in regular matches as well. And by the way, every player in the game can do this, they just have to do it on a different wave. And you also have to make sure that you don't hit any zombies while you're doing this, which can be incredibly difficult on controller because the aim assist will inevitably want to pull your aim towards the zombies. And there we go, just like I promised, epic ether tool. Now of course you can wait and go past round 21 and then instead of an epic ether tool, you get a legendary ether tool, but in my opinion getting the free epic out of the way earlier is just more beneficial. So at this point, all you need to do is just play the game and get as many points as you possibly can. It doesn't matter what else you do, you just want to get as many points as possible by Deadshot Daiquiri and by Vulture Aid. Then make your way to 25 when the Wonder Fizz spawns in, and you'll be good to go. If you're really lucky, one of the reasons why I recommended using this vending machine, just meleeing it with a weapon every round, is because you can get random items from it. And in this case, I got Death Perception, which is absolutely huge, because normally we can't get that on this map until round 25. I did want to just leave that in, along with the tip that you do want to complete the SAM trials as frequently as possible, just because they'll help you get built up faster. But other than that, it is entirely personal preference, the order in what perks you get. I do like having stamina up if you're using the Free Faller augment for this map, because it allows you to just hold your lethal or tactical out and fall straight down in between floors of the map without actually dying from fall damage. There's many different great places to train on this map, so just pick whatever one you feel is ideal. If you want to go ahead and train around here in the Dark Entity Containment area, that is an extremely popular spot, pretty much running in a circle like this. There's also the spot near the PhD Flopper perk machine that you can use, where basically it'll be a one-line spawn for all the zombies, so it's incredibly easy to get all of your crit kills and everything. And basically the game, this challenge, this event is a joke if you follow my strategy up until you start dealing with the Uber Klauses. So I will show, of course, in the video how to deal with the Uber Klauses, but remember, you aren't forced to deal with too many of them. So it'll be really, really easy. You don't have to worry too much about it. Now, by this point, once you hit round 16, if you've been following my strategy, you should have enough salvage that you can go ahead and upgrade to legendary rarity, with probably enough to grab another ammo mod. It's entirely personal preference what you get. I like Napalm Burst, however Cryo Freeze is also great. And you can be wherever you want to be for fighting your first Uber Klaus. Now, your first Uber Klaus will obviously be the easiest of all Uber Klauses, and I do recommend that you have an Ether Shroud charge ready to deal with him, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to leave my weapon the way that it is upgraded so that I'm not over anything, and I'll just show you how we deal with him without having any super uber duper powerful weapons. So pretty much you shoot off both of his shoulder pads, and then you just shoot him in the face. And that's literally all she wrote for the Uber Klaus. Then you have the Uber Klaus core, which does have a crit point being his face. You don't want to let him self-destruct on you, but that is it. They're very easy to deal with. So assuming that you're upgraded, they're very easy to deal with, or you can use a death machine, which works fantastically against them. If you're struggling, there is a free insta-kill that you can shoot. It's a world spawn insta-kill right there. So if you struggle with the wave 16 or like 21 Uber Klaus, you can go ahead and hit them with that, assuming you don't have Ether Shroud charges, you don't have a death machine or anything of that nature. Now at this point, all you need to do is continue farming until you have the perks that you want, and maybe pack 2, but again, it's entirely personal preference. I need to buy one more perk, that's going to be Vulture Aid, and then we will be good to go. If you want to do either of the free perk Easter eggs just to save some capital, you can, and of course I would recommend getting a 3-plate vest.
Up, I dare.
So here we are on round 25, literally one round from the first completion, or the first challenge being completed. I'm going to show you how to get a free perk. So once you have the shotgun pack-a-punch or any better ranged weapon, you can very easily go and shoot Mr. Peaks, and then he'll float up here. Now, sadly, I don't have a decoy because I used my decoy during the SAM trial. We're pack 2, just like I said we'd be, and we do have legendary rarity. So we are able to tear through the enemies really, really quickly. You should be at the same point if you've been following along with all of the information that I mentioned. And we're just going to get rid of most of this wave here, which, again, is pretty easy to do. Easier if you have decoys. And then I'm going to, now that I interacted with Mr. Peaks, he opened up these rings. Normally you only need to wait about 10 seconds, and you can go ahead and jump through these rings and then just deploy your parachute immediately. And you need to parachute through every ring in one attempt, and then when you land on the very bottom floor back in reception, you get a free random perk. I usually recommend waiting until you have the perks that you want so that you can try to get death perception, since we need that for our shotgun build. But if you don't have it, not a big deal. And if you miss all of the rings or some of the rings, it's okay because you can always attempt that again. While you don't get the 100 essence for going through the ring a second time, at least thankfully you can try again should your parachuting skills be a little rusty like mine were there. But it's relatively easy to do this, and I do recommend doing it for a later perk so you don't mess up your core 3. You can also do this in a regular match, and it will of course give everyone on the team that free random perk. You don't have to do this for the challenge, but I'm just including some additional tips so that you guys will have a much easier time while doing this. Just like the target range shooting Easter egg, you can technically do 3 times and get a free ether crystal for Pack-a-Punch, but we're not going to be doing that. Of course, I got Elemental Pop, which is the one perk that I didn't really particularly want, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves positioned here. You'll probably have everything that I have, but if you don't, as long as you have your Quick Revive Juggernog, Double Tap, and Deadshot Daiquiri, ideally with Voltrade, you'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead and make our way over here to where PhD Flopper is in the Mutant Research Test area. And then we're going to back out into this little corner right here. And if you're having any difficulty whatsoever in going through the first 25 rounds or so, this is a phenomenal spot that you can go ahead and camp. You can very easily line all the zombies up so that they just come through this door, and they're free crit kills for you. Super easy, and you can do that up into much, much later rounds as well. Now we're going to get our pop-up for the challenge completed here in just a second. It'll wait for all the rewards, but since we have the challenge tracked, you can go ahead and see what your next challenge is, which is simply earn 15 slaughter medals, 5 rapid zombie kills, and we don't have to exit the match that we're in order to make progress on these, which is pretty nice. So all you have to do here is simply just get yourself a whole bunch of zombies grouped up and unload. That's literally as simple as it is. Now, unfortunately, it is specific to the slaughter medal. So, as you've seen there, I got way more than 5 kills, and unfortunately, that actually hurts us. So you want to make sure that you try to get only the slaughter medal, and then stop slaughtering zombies. Wait a little while, so that you can get the slaughter medal again, and rinse and repeat that process. If you find yourself running out of armor in that area, then obviously go to a different spot, whatever spot you're comfortable with. Or, of course, you can just use your field upgrade, and there is a crafting bench right here, so you can go ahead and craft yourself some more lovely, lovely armor plates or decoys. That's why I said this will be relatively salvage intensive, because otherwise, while the slaughter medal isn't difficult to get, you're probably not going to get that many of them in a single round unless you're specifically trying for them. Because more than likely, you're going to go past slaughter, and instead of getting the 5 kills, you're going to go and get way more than 5 kills. This is also where you can use infinite zombie spawning strats, like spawning in the Disciple and using those zombies. There's a number of different things that you can do for this. You can also do this all in the Klaus round, if you so desire, but I don't really want to be fighting the Forsaken just for the infinite zombie spawns. Now, in case anybody doesn't know, if a Uber Klaus has given you a hassle while you're doing this, a single charge of Ether Shroud, assuming that you're upgraded like I am, is more than enough to go ahead and wreck that Uber Klaus's day. You can, of course, also use your Death Machine, which is incredibly effective at dealing with the Uber Klauses. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of those zombies real quick, and wait for the timer to break. Once we have the kill chain broken, then we can go and get another one, and just keep repeating that process. Again, I like to stay around this area just because it's super easy to do this. You can also use a SAM trial to your advantage, just in case you don't want to fight the Forsaken. A lot of folks will tell you to go into directed mode for this. A lot of folks will tell you to go ahead and spawn the Disciple in so that he just keeps spawning enemies that don't count towards the wave. And other folks will tell you to go and fight the Forsaken, kill his first form so that it's just the Forsaken core that you have to deal with, and then go ahead and just keep farming that unlimited amount of zombies that spawned during the fight, which of course don't count for the actual wave. While those are all fantastic strategies, they require you to do more steps of the Easter egg, and they will take a little bit longer. So I would personally just recommend doing it like this, where we use 1 or maybe 2 waves to go ahead and get the required zombie kills. If for some reason you are lacking slaughter medals, that's perfectly fine. Or if you just want to go ahead and get a head start on the next challenge, remember that dead drop gobble that I told you to bring in? Well, now's your chance to go ahead and bring it in. You can, of course, like I said, do this during SAM trials as well. So if you need a few extra zombies, you're very easily just do this. Go to a SAM trial if you have a SAM trial active, activate it, and don't actually worry about completing it, because while the SAM trial is active, it's going to spawn infinite zombies for you. So we need a few more slaughter medals. Easy peasy. We're going to go ahead and just slaughter a few zombies here. It doesn't matter how you get them, as long as you get the medals. Super, super easy. But, of course, entirely personal preference. Oh, there we go. There's another slaughter medal. And that's the last one that we need. Now, what we need for the next challenge in our Operation Hell Ride is collect 3,000 total salvage. Remember, these other challenges can be done, of course, on any other map. They do not have to be done on the Reckoning. They do not have to be done in the same game. You can literally go about doing this any way that you want to do it. So for this, collect a total of 3,000 salvage. Unfortunately, the SAM trials don't seem to count for it. Some folks said that they thought that they did, but for me, they're not counting. So we'll do this the old-fashioned way. If you're comfortable with the Rampage Inducer, feel free to go ahead and turn that bad boy on. If you're not comfortable with the Rampage Inducer, or more getting back to turn it off, then yeah, don't worry about it. It's, of course, entirely personal preference. We're going to go ahead and toggle it on just so that you can see how quickly we do this and get this all done, wrapped up nice and neat with a bow on it. So I'll go ahead and pop my dead drop gobble. This is going to increase the amount of salvage that we get. And obviously with the zombies moving faster, well, we're just going to have a whole crap load of zombies coming in on us. Going back to where we were earlier with the PhD flopper, little hidey hole, one spawn strat here. And pretty much all you have to do is tap fire the shotgun here, the Maelstrom, just showing how awesome it is. And you can get down to like 1 or 2 zombies left. And then just go out here and pick up all of your salvage. Obviously using a suppressor, and if you were really feeling froggy, using Carrion's luggage would help, but we don't need to save and quit just to change that. Also, do make sure that you have a decoy, just in case you get into trouble. As you can see, we already have collected 1,000 salvage, and we only flipped 1 wave. Now, yes, you can do this in other areas of the map. You can do this on other maps, and of course you could do it in directed mode if you really, really wanted to, but it's, again, just gonna be all that much slower. So, what's really the point, if you don't mind me asking? Again, we'll get just like 1 or 2 zombies left. We don't want to flip too many rounds here. But obviously, if you are using the Rampage Inducer, things can be more than a little crazy, and there's so much stuff that gets dropped on the ground that often you have to walk over things multiple different times or from a different angle and try to jitter around to make sure that you pick up everything. Within 1 or 2 waves, you should be able to go ahead and grab the 3,000 total salvage. Very, very easy. If it's during the wave, then what you want to do is just kind of drop down here and angle your parachuting skills so that you parachute right through the hole and we can go back to the ground floor. If you have a decoy, toss that bad boy as soon as you hit the ground so that you can turn off the rampage inducer. But again, entirely personal preference if you want to use the rampage inducer or not. I will leave that up to you. I like to turn it off after the round switches just to make it a little bit easier. This way I don't have to wait the time. Now what I need to do is earn 5 popcorn kill medals, which again is 5 or more kills with a single lethal explosion. What it doesn't tell you is I've tried a bunch of different lethals, and the only lethal that I have found to reliably work is the frag grenade. So it says single explosion, and you would think that you could do that with a Semtex, but for some reason I just simply wasn't getting the medal with the Semtex. Obviously it's a little bit difficult here on Klaus rounds just because of the nature of the explosions. So again, if you were in directed mode, it would be easier, but it would also be a lot slower. Basically, wait for a normal zombies round, go to your favorite training spot. Ideally, once again, I would recommend going right back up here to Mutant Research because there is a very nice crafting table for us to use. And by this point, you should have Vulturade with Picky Eater, so you shouldn't have much of a problem in terms of having enough frag grenades or enough decoys. Your hardest thing here is going to be having enough zombies. So all you're going to want to do here is simply take out any of the big guys, so any special or elite zombies. Just go ahead and take them out. This way you don't have to worry about them. You don't even have to use the decoy unless you just want to make your life easier. Pretty much lead a group of zombies ahead of you, cook your frag grenade a little bit, and then kaboom! There's a nice popcorn medal. So again, we're going to eventually have to deal with another Uber Klaus. Super easy if you have Ether Shroud. Ether Shroud is highly recommended for this map. Pretty much for anything that you do. Just go ahead and wreck that Uber Klaus so you don't even have to deal with them. If you don't have a second charge of Ether Shroud for the second Uber Klaus, it's not the end of the world. Shoot off both shoulder pads, shoot him in the face. It is possible to crit an Uber Klaus. A lot of folks don't know that. It is possible. And then we're just going to go ahead and get him.
Insta-kill.
The insta-kill might be a bit overkill. You don't really need it. It is possible, by the way, to earn more than 1 popcorn medal off of a single frag grenade. I've had that happen multiple times, but for some reason the multiple popcorn medals don't seem to actually track for the challenge as multiple. If you are cooking frag grenades, obviously be very careful that you don't detonate them on yourself, so don't cook them too long. Otherwise, you will be a very, very dead zombie soldier, and that's kind of awkward. Once again, just cook and release, and kablooey. Now, naturally, you're going to get decoys to drop. It's pretty downright easy. There's our challenge complete. And you can see what your next challenge is, which is going to be spend a total of 30,000 essence. Now, again, this one is incredibly easy to do. As you can see here, for some reason, it's not really tracking on the Wonder Fizz, which is weird. It's supposed to track the Wonder Fizz, but for me, it's being a butt and not. So we're just going to go ahead and pack-a-punch our other weapon. We'll pack our melee weapon, even though I don't really use it. And at this point, we just got to wait for the game to catch up a little bit. And then, bam, Operation Hell Ride. Spend 30,000 essence. So why it didn't count for me, I don't really know why it didn't count for me on that front, but it didn't count for me. Super strange. Now for this last challenge here, kill 50 zombies as a result of ammo mod activations. This one's incredibly easy, and I would recommend Napalm Burst as your ammo mod. It's going to be the easiest, in my opinion, of course. And then we're going to need to go someplace where we can kind of maneuver around the zombies a little bit more. Having Elemental Pop with Citrus Focused will help you with this, but of course it's not necessarily required. So my personal favorite spot is over here in the T2 Dark Entity Containment. And basically all we're going to do is we're going to group up a bunch of zombies, and then we're going to light them on fire. And they recently fixed the Napalm Burst and they buffed it. So now you're going to want to make sure that you have Firebomb on your Napalm Burst, just like way back when. And this is going to be so easy to do. So basically, we'll get some zombies grouped up together, and we just want to proc Napalm Burst. And then we don't want to do anything else. Don't want to do anything else to these zombies. We just want to let Napalm Burst do its work. And Napalm Burst will slowly go and spread fire, pretty much killing most of the entire horde with just a single activation of Napalm Burst. Assuming that you can keep the horde closer together, and more than likely you're not proccing Napalm Burst on a special or elite enemy. You can also do this with the Lightning Strike with Deadwire, however it's going to take you a lot longer. So pretty much as the zombies catch fire and die, there we go, bing bang boom, bada bang. Look at all of our rewards rolling in there. Operation Hellride, event completed. I needed to take a few screenshots there, so apologies for the interruption. This way I can make a better thumbnail. But that's it, folks. That is as easy as it gets. As you can see, we don't have the event tracked anymore. So now you can do whatever you want. You can continue playing the game. You can go work on the last bit of No Crank to No Glory. You can leave the match, or you can successfully exfil. As I said, I would be showing you the easiest way to get this done, and technically the fastest way to get it done. So congratulations on your event completion. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop me a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button. Leave me a nice spicy comment. And consider sharing the video with your friends, as that greatly helps me out here on YouTube. Of course, if you learned nothing at all and you didn't enjoy the video, then I guess drop a dislike on the video. But at least leave a comment and let me know what I can improve. There we go. In a game with explaining that took about an hour, we got all of the Operation Hellride rewards done. Got our operator skin, got our new pistol, all of that good stuff. And like I said, even though I was explaining and going slow, we were done with it in an hour. Alright, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Event complete. As you can see, we got all the rewards here. I don't have the black cell, unfortunately, but I can still show you the new weapon. There's actually a pack in the store for it, but this is the new weapon. It looks pretty cool, even though it's not necessarily my favorite, because I don't particularly really like pistols. And it's also a pistol that can't be suppressed, so I don't know how well that's going to be in-game. Of course, I will go ahead and use it in-game in a later video, but at least it looks cool, right? So, congratulations on unlocking the new weapon.